Hi there, this is Chris Burgess. This video is about how to scale a startup from doing custom work to building a product that serves multiple customers. I'm a firm believer that a product will only be successful if it's utilitarian, and by that I mean, it's there to serve the greatest number of people and to keep the greatest number of people happy. And it's quite easy when you're starting out to be building whatever your customers ask for. But what that does is it makes scale difficult because you end up with a lot of code that can't be reused. You end up with a lot of, problems as you start to bring in that revenue. You start to be pulled in lots of different directions, and it's quite hard to change that. So, the way I believe that you can change that is to take a product mindset, and that is to think, okay, how do we start to build something that will serve all of our customers? And the way to do that is in a number of different ways, but you got to start by looking for the patterns across all the requests that you're getting from your customers. And once you start to do that, you'll start to be able to see where you can start scaling this. And this again is a Notebook LM video, um, and I welcome you to listen to how Notebook LM has broken this down. And as always, really appreciate your feedback. So please do get in touch. And yeah, I look forward to hearing what you think.
All right, let's talk about something that traps so many businesses. How do you actually move from doing a bunch of one-off projects to building a product that can truly scale? This is the key to unlocking real sustainable growth. So let's dive in.
So, does this sound familiar? You land a new client and everyone's excited. But then it feels like you're completely reinventing the wheel every single time. New requirements, maybe some new code, totally new expectations. You get it done, you deliver, but then it's on to the next one, and you're right back at square one. If that feeling is pretty much your constant reality, then yeah, you're probably caught in what we call the custom work trap. It's this endless cycle of one-off solutions. And look, it might be generating cash, but it makes it incredibly difficult to scale your business in a meaningful way.
And being in this trap, it has some real serious consequences. When you're always starting from scratch, you totally miss the chance to build reusable stuff. Your team ends up duplicating their effort. All those valuable insights just get lost between projects, and honestly, the customer experience could be all over the place. In the end, all that innovation and hard work just fizzles out instead of compounding into real growth. So what's the escape plan? Well, here's the thing. It's not about buying some new fancy software or just hiring more people. Escaping the trap starts with something much more fundamental, a shift in how you think. It's about moving from delivering projects to building a product. And that brings us to our first big idea here. We've got to adopt a product mindset. What does that mean? It means you stop thinking in terms of one-off deliverables and you start thinking in systems, in patterns, and in customer outcomes. Let's really put these two side by side, okay? A project mindset is totally reactive, it's focused on serving one client's immediate needs, and you're building something for one-time use. But a product mindset, that's proactive. It's always on the lookout for repeating patterns across lots of different clients, so you can build flexible, reusable solutions that create value for a much bigger audience. This gets to another crucial distinction, the difference between being product-led versus customer-led. Now, being customer-led sounds good, but it often means you're just reacting to every single individual request, which can lead to a really fragmented, messy product. Being product-led is different. You're still listening to customers, of course, but you're focused on their shared challenges. That's what lets you build one elegant solution that can serve many.
Okay, so the mindset shift is one thing, but how do you actually do it? Like, what are the steps? Well, there's a pretty clear 5-step framework that can give you a path from all that custom work to creating real repeatable value.
It all starts with really truly understanding who you're building for. You know, the decision makers, the developers, the people using it every day. Then, you have to dig into their why. How do they measure success? Once you know that, you can start to spot the repeating patterns across all their needs, validate that those patterns are a real opportunity, and then you wrap it all up in a clear story that gets everyone on the same page. I love this quote because it just nails the whole idea. Spotting patterns, that is the core skill here. It's about looking at all the work you've done, all the customer requests you've gotten, and figuring out when a theme stops being just a coincidence and starts pointing to a genuine shared need that you can build a product around.
But finding those patterns is easier said than done, right? Because it means you have to make sense of all this customer feedback, all this market data, and that brings us to a huge challenge a lot of companies face, turning all that information into actual confident decisions. Check this out. Research with product leaders shows this massive gap. Nearly 80% of them say they are collecting more data than ever before. But less than half of them feel confident using that data to make decisions. Think about that for a second. There's this huge disconnect between just having information and actually having understanding.
So why? Why is there this huge gap? Well, it usually boils down to three big things. First, fragmentation. Your customer insights are scattered everywhere, in the CRM, in support tickets, in surveys, all owned by different teams. Second, capacity. Let's be real. Teams are busy shipping stuff. They often don't have the dedicated time for deep analysis. And finally, confidence. Without a clear way to see the patterns, it's impossible to separate the important signals from all the noise.
All right, this leads us to the final piece of the puzzle, and it is absolutely critical. Once you've found a real pattern and you've validated it, you have to communicate its value. You have to tell your product story to get everyone aligned and ready for growth. And a great product story, it's not rocket science. It really just has to answer three simple questions. First, what have you built? And I mean, focus on what it lets the user do, not just a list of features. Second, why does it matter? Connect it directly to the things your customers actually care about. And third, who is it for? Make sure everyone, from decision makers to end users, can see themselves in that story. And that is the magic of it. When everyone in the company, from sales to marketing to engineering, can tell the same simple story, your entire strategy just clicks into place. Everyone knows how to sell it, how to message it, and what to build next. It's the kind of powerful alignment that really fuels growth. So, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a question to really chew on. Take a look at the work your team does day in and day out. What problems are you solving over and over and over again? What repeatable pattern in your work could be the little seed for your next scalable product?